What is up everyone and welcome back to another video. We are back ranking some more MCU movies. We are doing phases 4 and 5 today, finishing off the remaining MCU movies released so far. In the last video we ranked all the MCU movies between phases 1 to 3. If you want to check that video out, link will be in the description below. So without any further delay, let's start with phase 4. So the first movie in phase 4 is of course Black Widow. I really enjoyed this movie. I thought this movie was really good. It was great to see finally the story of the Red Room and get kind of the story of what Natasha was before becoming Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson does a brilliant performance, and the introduction of Florence Pugh as Yelena, David Harbour as the Red Guardian. Really good introductions to these characters. I think this film has some great action sequences as well. I think in particular the beginning of the film with the plane, I thought that was a lot of fun. And I think overall this film is pretty good. There is a couple of downsides to it. I think Taskmaster is not done well at all. And, don't get me wrong, I really wanted a Black Widow standalone movie. She deserves it. Scarlett Johansson deserves to have the spotlight in her own movie. I just think it came a bit late. I think this film would have hit a bit more if, she didn't die at Endgame, and this obviously came after Endgame. I think this would have done a bit better beforehand. But regardless of that, I still think it's a really good movie. I'm gonna put it an A. I think this film does a lot of things right, and like I said, it's great for Scarlett Johansson to finally get the spotlight in her own movie. And yeah, it introduces some really, really fun characters that are still about in the MCU. And I'm really excited to see, the likes of Yelena and the Red Guardian, see how they get on in Doomsday and how they fare against Doctor Doom. Will be interesting. But yeah, Black Widow for me, really good movie. I think also the kind of seriousness, the darker kind of parts of the story, I think they convey it really well. And yeah, just overall pretty good movie. Strong start to the phase 4. Carrying on, Shang-Chi. I've probably butchered that pronunciation. And the Legend of the Ten Rings. Again, this movie was pretty good. I didn't know what I was expecting going into this movie. I didn't know a lot about Shang-Chi. Actually, I knew nothing about it going into this movie, so I had no idea what to expect. I knew it was kind of based around the Mandarin, and this was like the real Mandarin. Obviously, we had that in Iron Man 3. And I was pleasantly surprised. First things first, got to talk about as well, the choreography in the fights is brilliant. It looks really good. The director's name escapes me, but I know he's directed the new Spider-Man film, and that is really exciting. I can't wait for the new Spider-Man film. Anyway, back to Shang-Chi. Again, like I said, the fight sequences are really, really well done. And yeah, like I said, I was pleasantly surprised with Shang-Chi. The thing that caught me off guard a bit was the final act. I didn't really know, when it came to the dragons and the demons, I was a bit kind of caught off guard. It didn't pull me away from the film, but it definitely was like a what the hell is going on here kind of moment. But apart from that, I think the story is pretty good. I think the dynamic between Shang-Chi and his father, and same with his sister as well, I think is done really well. It's that love-hate relationship. He hates him because of what he's done, but also he's his dad at the end of the day, and so there is a soft spot there for him. And also, we introduced Trevor Slattery into the MCU, and that was a brilliant, cameo, but it was kind of more than a cameo, but brilliant addition to this film as well. I think again it's going to go in A. I think it's really good. I think this is a strong start to phase 4 until now. Eternals. Oh god, this is going to be difficult. visually, the film looks great. I think the cast is great. And I think they all put in a pretty decent performance. That's probably about as far as I can go with positivities for Eternals. There's obviously a story there, and I'm not saying the story isn't bad. Just, I don't know. Again, same with Shang-Chi. I didn't know what to expect with coming into Eternals. But when you've got all these characters to introduce for the very first time, it's too many. It's too many, and it doesn't work. You've got some characters that are in the spotlight, and you've got some characters that are forgotten about, and that's always going to happen when you've got a film with a cast like this and also so many characters like this. And when you've got the Eternals, which aren't very well known, especially for MCU fans. Like, I don't read the comics. I didn't know what the Eternals were until they were announced as a thing, and I didn't feel any connection between the characters. I didn't feel like I really wanted to know some of these characters. I think some of them are quite interesting, and I think some of them are quite well done. But like I said, I think a couple of them are kind of forgotten about. The thing is I would feel bad putting this in F, because like, this is something different. This is something new. I'm gonna put it bottom of D. They at least attempted to try something new. It just didn't work. Spider-Man No Way Home. This film was brilliant, and it's not just because of the fan service, okay? But we'll start with that. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield being in this is brilliant. It's great to see them again. I think they put in a really good performance, and they really do a good job in feeling not necessarily like a mentor, because they don't have much time to be a mentor to Peter, but, well, Tom Holland's Peter Parker. I think their lesson of, obviously, great power comes great responsibility, they do it really well, and it's kind of like, look, we understand because we've been in your shoes, you know, don't let it consume you. I think the villains returning is really cool. It's great to see Doc Ock back, Green Goblin back, Willem Dafoe, by the way. Oh, he has not lost it. He is Green Goblin to perfection. Brilliant performance once again as the Green Goblin. The story, I think, is not perfect, but given the circumstances, bearing in mind this was filmed during COVID, this film was meant to come out after Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness originally, I think it still does really well. And I also think they do a really good job with Tom Holland's Peter Parker in this. I felt really sorry for him. Like, it feels like he has really lost everything within the last week. You know, he's lost his privacy, he's lost his aunt, he's just losing everything, and now he's lost his identity. You know, and he's made so many sacrifices to save the world, essentially, and that's what being a superhero is. I think this is a great film. It's S tier. Not just for the fan service. I think, like I said, the portrayal of Peter Parker, Tom Holland's Peter Parker, is really good. And it's just a lot of fun. I think there's a couple of jokes that don't land in this, and I think it's like a kind of moment. But I think it's really great, and I think the fight sequence between Doctor Strange and Spider-Man is really good as well. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, I know this film went through a couple of rewrites. Like I said, this was meant to come out before No Way Home. Obviously, it came out afterwards. Wanda wasn't meant to be the villain originally. I think it was going to be Nightmare. The director, this was originally meant to be directed by the director who did the first Doctor Strange, sorry. I think this film's pretty good. I enjoyed it. I think calling it Multiverse Madness is a bit because you only see a few multiverses, but I think overall it's pretty good. Elizabeth Olsen, very good as Scarlet Witch, yet again, Benedict Cumberbatch, great again as Doctor Strange. I think it is just crazy. I think seeing all the cameos with the Illuminati is great, and it's great just to see Wanda go in there and just completely tear them apart. Stupid of them to be like, no, we got this. What do you mean you've got this? It's bloody Scarlet Witch. Very weird that at the end, though, that they kind of leave it on a cliffhanger, like, oh my god, Doctor Strange has got a third eye, oh my god, the Darkhold has, cursed him and whatnot. And then the post-credit scene, he's absolutely fine. And it's like, what? What? But I'm going to go A for this. Yeah, it could be better, but again, I had a lot of fun with it. Similar with, like, Age of Ultron. I had a lot of fun with it. Like, it could be better, yeah, but I had a lot of fun. Oh god, I just realised what's next. Thor Love and Thunder. This film had quite a lot of potential. You've had Thor Ragnarok, which has done really well. It was a breath of fresh air for this character. And then you had Infinity War, where the Russo brothers did Thor justice. He was brilliant. And then Endgame, where, Thor felt really sorry for himself and then he tried to redeem himself. And then he went off with the Guardians. This was going to be great. We were like, Taika Waititi's back. Great. He's going to have that great blend again. This was difficult to watch. It just felt like there was joke after joke after joke, and none of it landed for me. I will say positive about this film. The scene where they're on the planet where it's black and white. I can't remember if there's got a name for it or not. That scene was good. Christian Bale was poorly executed. That's no fault of his own. He was just wasted on this film. I think it's great to see, Natalie Portman back and, Mighty Thor. That's great. But they went too far into the funny side of it, and it just didn't land at all. And I'm really hoping they learn a lesson. And it's bad, right, when the Thor teaser for Doomsday, which is like a minute or whatever, is better than pretty much the entirety of Thor Love and Thunder. The whole dynamic, like with Thor trying to get back with Mjolnir, and like, I just didn't find any of it funny. And like I said, it had a lot of potential. This film was like gearing up to be like, yes, it's Thor. It's the first one to have 4 films, and like, yes, let's see. And it's just this, and it's like, oh my god, really? This is what you came up with? I knew going into this there was going to be potentials to have a film in F. This is one of them. Eternals could have been another, but I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt because it tried something new, and it's something we haven't seen before. It's characters we haven't seen before. Thor, like, it's Thor. We know what Thor's like, and like I said, they had kind of a blueprint to follow with Ragnarok, and they just completely went again. Like, they completely saw the wrong end of the stick with it, and was like, yeah, they weren't funny, and it's just like, no. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. This was always going to be a difficult film to make in terms of a couple of things. Obviously, one, Chadwick Boseman. Obviously, it was very sad of his passing, and I think you can really feel the emotion, not just of obviously T'Challa passing in this film, but I think you can really feel the emotion in the performances with everyone, in terms of obviously Chadwick Boseman passing away, and it really felt like they were carrying him in their hearts, and I think everyone does a brilliant performance in this, especially Angela Bassett. She does a stellar job. And also another reason is because Black Panther was so good. Like, it was so good, and it had a lot to live up to. I think Namor, really good. really good. I think he looks the part. I can't remember the actor's name, but he looks the part. It's great to see him again in Doomsday. Great to see the introduction of Ironheart. I think the third act is a little bit meh, but I think the rest of the film is pretty good, and it's great to see Shuri try and talk to Namor and them just talk out their differences. I really don't know where to put this. I'm gonna put it A. Maybe that, I think. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think, again, I don't think it was ever going to live up to the original film, or the first film rather, just because the first film was very good, but I think you could really feel the emotional aspect of this film. I think it's really good, and like I said, the performances are just brilliant in this. Okay, another one that's just, we're like, Marvel's back, and then Marvel's not back, because Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, this, again, similar to Thor: Love and Thunder, is a tough watch. I know in the last video I said I rewatched the Ant-Man films. I didn't rewatch this one because I knew I was going to struggle to watch it. Right, let's get positives out the way first and foremost. I think visually overall this film looks pretty good. I will say that. Not MODOK. That is quite... It takes... it takes a minute to get used to him. But I think, like, visually, the Quantum Realm looks beautiful. Jonathan Majors does a really good performance as Kang. That's probably, again, about it. It's so evident that this film was on a green screen. And it kind of takes it away a little bit. It's similar to Thor. I think there's too many jokes in this that just... and a lot of them don't land again, but I think it doesn't do it as bad as Thor: Love and Thunder. Thor: Love and Thunder really leaned into it. This doesn't really lean into it, but Thor: Love and Thunder does. Another annoying thing is Kang doesn't feel like a threat in this. Like, he feels like this is the start of a very violent, dark, gritty character who can go on to be this multiversal threat, but then he just gets killed off, and it's like, no. If Ant-Man can kill him, if ants can stop him, then I don't see how the threat of another Kang is going to be a threat. Like, it kind of takes it away. Like, this is meant to be the big baddie of this next saga, and when you do this film and you then kill him off, it doesn't work. At the very least, if he's going to get killed off, you kill Ant-Man as well. And I know a lot of people were going into this thinking Ant-Man's not going to make it out. There's no way he makes it out. And I thought, you know what? Actually, maybe he does survive, but then maybe they get stuck in the quantum realm because, the portal behind them closes, and I'm like, oh my god, they're trapped now. Oh my god. A minute later, the portal opens back up, and I'm like, like, what do you mean? Like, it would have been so cool to, like, either Kang dies, like, either you'd let Kang live and he kills Ant-Man. You let Kang die, but then Ant-Man dies. Or you let Kang die and then they get stuck in the quantum realm. And they just didn't do any of that. It was like it has to end with, like, the hero winning, and it has to end with them surviving, it has to end with them being happy, and then it's like, and at the end it's like, oh, but, did I stop him? Like, are there more of them coming? We now know more of them aren't coming because obviously it's Doctor Doom now. That's going to be the main baddie. I just think, like, this film... Again, I was looking forward to this film because I'm like, oh, okay, Ant-Man, we're looking forward to it. And I think it's such a different approach to what they've done with the first two films. Like, the first two films had that comedic aspect, but again, it worked well because it's not this grand scale thing. Like, this Quantumania is this grand scale thing because you're setting up the main villain for this saga, and you can't have these witchy jokes in it, or you can't have so many witchy jokes in it. It worked with Ant-Man. and it went with Ant-Man and the Wasp because of the scale of the film, right? It wasn't a massive scale of the film. It was introducing this character in a smaller thing, and then he can get brought into these bigger stories, right? With like Captain America: Civil War, with Avengers Endgame rather. It doesn't work as an Ant-Man film by itself. It's got to go F. I'm gonna put it above Thor, but it's got to go F because, like I said, it's setting up the main villain of the saga, and it does it poorly. Jonathan Majors is brilliant. It does it poorly. It probably annoyed me. It's annoying me now. I'm getting annoyed just thinking about it. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This really has potential to be S tier for me. I think this is my favourite in the trilogy. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the strongest trilogies in this. I'm gonna go S tier. I'm gonna go S tier. I think it's a really good story. And you know why it's a really good story? It's because it don't connect to the bigger story in this saga. Like, it's not trying to lean into Kang or anything like that. It's its own story with the Guardians. James Gunn does it again with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm glad they brought him back to do this film, and I think they've done really well. I think that like the music choices in this is really good yet again. I think again the character dynamics again are really good. I just think it's a great movie. I really do. I think the villain is really good. And again, really emotional. Like, you know, thinking Rocket's gonna die, then you've got Quill gonna die. Like, it does it really well. And then at the end, it's like it doesn't end. Like, this is where I was like, not everything has to end with people dying. Like when they're like, oh, this is the last time we're going to see these Guardians. This is the last time we're going to see this team of Guardians of the Galaxies. And as soon as everyone hears like, oh, this is the last one of this, it's like, oh my god, who's going to die? Oh my god, who's going to live? It's like, no one has to die. I'm really glad they kind of went the route of, no, we're just going to go our separate ways, essentially. I think it's a great ending to these characters, and will we see them again? Potentially. I think we'll definitely see Star-Lord again. I think that's the only ones we're going to see. Maybe it's an off chance Groot and Rocket, but yeah, definitely Peter Quill for sure, but I think everyone else, that's them done. But again, I think it's a great ending to this trilogy, and I just can't, I don't have many negatives, if any, to be honest. I think it's brilliant. The Marvels are, you know what? This is one of the only films, I think this is actually the only film that I've had to physically stop watching it and just be like, what am I watching? Right, don't get me wrong. It's probably trying to be a very fun film. I just don't really know what to say about this film. The villain is not good at all. I like the concept of like, oh, the powers of all their powers are like entangled together, and every time they use them, they swap. I like that kind of concept. And then it's like, oh yeah, we have to work together in order to, you know, do it. But it's just such a forgotten story. It's such a forgotten film. I hated the part where they went to the planet and everyone sings. No, absolutely not. That's the part where I had to stop, because I'm like, no, this is too much now. And the whole flirking thing, they overdid it with that, and just, yeah, I like. You know, it's a shame, because I want to see more of Captain Marvel. I wanted to see more of Monica Rambeau. I wanted to see more of Kamala Khan. And in this, it's just not good at all. And it's so forgotten about for me that I completely forgot that it was in this. And just, yeah, no. Oh, God. It actually makes me want to boost up Quantumania a bit. I'm not going to, but I'm thinking about it. Deadpool and Wolverine. This was the only film released in 2024 for Marvel. This is kind of where they went, right, we've had a lot of stinkers lately. Let's stop for a bit and let's try and sort all this mess out. I'm going to go... I'm going to go there. I'm going to go A. I don't think it's S tier. I just think they could have leaned a bit more into kind of more the bloodier side that I think we kind of saw in Deadpool 1 and 2. But I'm glad they went R-rated. I'm glad they didn't really hold back that much. It's great to see Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine. It's great to see some of those cameos again. Introduction with NSYNC, brilliant, loved that. I didn't really feel the emotion behind like Wade being like, these are my friends, we need to, like, we're saving my universe for them, and I'm like, I don't really feel it because we haven't seen them much. His love interest, obviously we know in the last two movies that obviously she's his world and like he can't live without her essentially. I totally get that, and I do see that aspect of like he's struggling to deal with them just being friends, he's struggling to deal with them not being together. I do see that, but especially when half of the characters that are, you know, his so-called friends, some of them died in the second one. I know he went back in time, but I'm pretty sure he saved Peter when he went back. So to have some of them still there, I'm like, what? The Void stuff is very good. I think Cassandra Nova is great. Nice Paul, very funny comedic thing. I like that. Deadpool Corp, pretty good fight scene. I love a one take thing. I know it obviously wasn't one take, but it looks like one take. I love one take stuff. I think overall it's a really good film, and it's a great homage to the Fox universe, and you know, the mutants and X-Men and all of the characters that Fox have done over the years, and it's a very nice homage to that. I just think the emotional side of it, of like his kind of intention to be like, we need to save this world for them, I didn't really feel that strongly about, because again, I didn't really feel that strong connection between them all. Okay, we're into the final stretch. Captain America Brave New World. This is really tough for me. It's great to see Anthony Mackie be Captain America and get his own movie. That's great. Great to see Harrison Ford in this. I think he's really good in this. I think this film works, but not as a Captain America movie. This is essentially a sequel to The Incredible Hulk, just without Hulk. And I know, again, this film went through a lot of production difficulties. I know it went through a lot of reshoots, and you know, there's behind the scene photos of, you know, the original design of the leader, which looks so much better than what we got in the film. Isaiah Bradley potentially having a big role in this. I'm gonna go B, because I think actually, you know what, Red Hulk was really good, and it's a really good inclusion, and that's great, and I love the fight sequence. It's really cool. For it to end with him just talking, it's like, okay, we're doing this again. He's just gonna talk his way out of it. It's like, ugh. Like, just let him defeat him, you know? And I think the story somewhat works. But again, I think the design of the leader is better from the original one than the one we've got. And I just think that the story of like the bit where oh god, I can't remember his character's name. Danny Ramirez's character, obviously he's the Falcon now, but where he gets shot down and he has his accident and he's in hospital And we get Bucky Barnes cameo, very nice, like that. And we have Sam Wilson being like, "Oh, I'm not sure if I'm right to be Captain America. I don't have the super soldier serum. I'm just a guy, essentially." And Bucky's like, "You don't need the super soldier. You don't need the super soldier serum. You're a good guy, and that is enough." And that's an absolutely fine story. That's an absolutely fine message to send out. It's just that we've already had that with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it's like, we don't need to do this again. But I'm gonna go B, because it's just nice to have Sam Wilson have his own Captain America movie, as much as it doesn't really feel like a Captain America movie. Thunderbolts. I was pleasantly surprised with Thunderbolts. The character dynamics is really good, and it works. And obviously, I don't want to compare it to the Eternals, because the Eternals is different, because there's more characters in the Eternals, and they're introducing all these characters in the Eternals. We're not getting all these introductions. Obviously, we're getting Bob, obviously, but in terms of everything else, we've already seen these characters before. But in terms of their interaction between one another, that works. Like, it works. I think it's really good, and I think it's a really good message in this story, in this film, and it's just really good. It's really good. It's going top of A. It's going top of A. Screw it. It's going top of A. I think, like I said, everyone works really well in this film. It's great dynamics between the cast, and I'm really excited to see them in Doomsday. Florence Pugh, brilliant performance. David Harbour, brilliant performance. I can't fault them. Like, they genuinely feel like their characters, and it's just great. It's great to watch. And finally, Fantastic Four: First Steps, the final film in this video. And I didn't realise, the first film in Phase 6, I didn't actually realise that until earlier today when I was looking at it. This film was really good. I think the cast is chosen really well. I think the Thing looks really good in this. I think Johnny, it's nice to see him not just be a womanizer. It's great that we see him actually show off his knowledge and, show off why he's actually part of the team, because he knows his stuff. Pedro Pascal, I think, does really well as Reed Richards. I know we don't get much stretching action. It's really difficult to obviously, make it look convincing without it looking weird. But hopefully we get more of that in the future. And I really like how, they show him off as yes, he's really knowledgeable and he's so scientific and he knows what he's talking about when it comes to science. And then it's he's having a kid and he's like, I've got no idea. It's but to be fair, that's everyone else. It doesn't matter how smart you are never prepared to have a kid. But it's also he goes for all these tests and he's we've got to make sure that the baby's fine and whatnot. Oh my god. And then Sue's just look at our kid. He's perfect. And that's exactly what it is. It doesn't matter if he's got powers or whatnot. He's your son, and that's all that matters. And speaking of Sue Storm, Vanessa Kirby is the standout performance in this. She is superb. She's fantastic. No, she's brilliant. She's amazing. She's the standout performance in this. She is the perfect casting choice as Sue Storm. Galactus. It's great to get an accurate-looking Galactus in this. And he feels intimidating. Silver Surfer. I know there was some controversy about it being the female Silver Surfer. It's not that deep. It really is not that deep. People just need to get over themselves. And I think she's really good as well. I think she's really good in this as well. I think that, again, the dynamic between her and Johnny, really good. I think the story is pretty good. I think the second act with that chase, when they go to meet Galactus and then that chase with the Silver Surfer, that is beautiful. I think the third act is a little bit but I thoroughly enjoyed this film, and I can't wait to see them in Doomsday and Secret Wars and beyond, because they're gonna be, because it's a brilliant cast and they're just really good. They're really good. I'm gonna go here, I think. I really like the kind of retro futuristic. What the hell did I just say? The retro futuristic look to this film. I think they really did a good choice with this, and it'll be very interesting to see how they come into the MCU universe, the 616 universe. A tier is, I think, a very good spot for them. And that is every MCU movie released so far ranked. Let me know what you think of my tier list. Do you agree with my list? If not, let me know your tier list in the comments down below. If you did enjoy, leave a like on the video and subscribe so you don't miss another video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care everyone, and goodbye.